Hey kids, it's Jurassic James, and on this Jurassic James Explains, we're looking at human evolution models, or human models in general, or hominid models, I should say. So the first thing I'm going to point out, I just did a behind-the-scenes lecture at the museum where we talked about human evolution, and I realized that I have never, ever taught with these models. So I thought, why not for you guys? So just kind of an overview, big picture, same as before. We have kind of it's not so much time scale. I mean, I bought them all at the same time. Wanted to show where these guys fit in compared to my other primates. So of course you know lemurs, and we saw, and I mean I know it's cheesy, but I call this guy King Julian. I do because he's a ring-tailed lemur. We're looking at primates, 2 different branches, and of course lemurs are on one part, and then we have what I call the monkey and the apes. So monkeys, for the casual observer, have tails outside their bodies, and the idea is that your mandrill or Rafiki from Lion King, spider monkeys, all those guys, they have a tail outside their body, and they're not a lemur. For the most part, they're a monkey, right? Within the apes, we have, well, the gibbons walk upright and have really long arms, kind of a cool thing. And then there's the greater apes, which are orangutans, which you're seeing here, King Louis from the Jungle Book. And then we have gorillas, you're seeing here, a whole family, the baby and the mom, it's kind of cute. And then, of course, chimpanzees. So these are our apes too. With these guys, they're often bully land. So there aren't a whole lot of human evolution fossil or human evolution toys out there. And I remember when I first saw them, they didn't sell them as a pack. I bought them individually all at the same time. And I remember, thinking like, wow, this is really cool. Why does no one else know about this? And then I realized that what, 5-year-old or 10-year-old or 7-year-old wants to play with a Homo erectus model, when you can buy a T-Rex or a Velociraptor instead, right? So fun thing here, when I bought them all, they all came in same time, same pack, and I remember most of these models will have the names on their stomachs, because think of a dinosaur toy, the stomachs have a big flat area at the bottom, and these guys, the stomach, our chest and abs, part of our look. And when I first saw these models, I was looking at their feet, and it tells you they're Bullyland, that's the company, but it doesn't say their name. And I remember online, I don't know what disconnect there was. I saw all of them, I clicked on all of them and said, buy, credit card. And when they got here, I was like, oh, which one's what? Now, obviously there are some that are more obvious than others, but I was like, let me make sure. So what I basically did, is I remember who I had, or who I bought, and then I kind of deciphered it. So for one thing, I knew, for example, Homo sapien, that's us, our species, he has an alado. And an alado is, if I took a spear and I threw it, that's 1/4. If I put my spear on this little thing right here and I flick it, it can go further. And it's not those dog toys where you have a little spongy thing, you kind of fling it and it goes way out there and the dog runs against it. It's like that, basically. And I was like, okay, so this is clearly a Homo sapien, it's a human, like us. The next largest or human-like one was this guy here, and it had a spear, and I realized, oh, this must be Neanderthal, because Neanderthals, looking at the face, the wider nose, the thicker face, the overall stout of the body, I'm like, this is Neanderthal. They're, Europe, Israel, Western Russia to Europe, the colder environment, that's his feature. He has a mastodon tusk here. Now, engineering-wise, that's there to help the toy stand, because we are like the worst at standing. Ask any person with toy human figures without a base. So I'm like, this is Neanderthal. It's very similar to us, but he has a different weapon. He's not projecting. He's more stabbing. Knew him. Now these guys. I said, okay, who do we have next? Now this guy looks the most like this guy. So I'm like, he's probably a hominid too. And I had Homo erectus. Now Homo erectus is a big deal because, first of all, they're found all over Asia, and the name the Homo genus Homo is similar. So if you have for dinosaurs, we have homodonts, similar teeth, like T-Rex has the same kind of, well, not bad example. Duckbills have the same kind of teeth, throughout their jaw, the tooth battery. Whereas a heterodont, like a Heterodontosaurus, has different kinds of teeth, right? So Homo is our genus similar. Erectus meaning standing upright. So the reason it's such an important thing is that when they first found these guys, they were these upright, not us fossils. That was a big deal. They were thought to be our direct ancestors, for the most part. So they're known for having fire, and the idea is that we know that we see like these like burn pits where they would cook their food or something or keep warm at night. So this guy had fire, I'm like that, and he had some kind of a sharpened weapon tool for scraping or something. So I'm like, this is probably Homo erectus. The next guy is called Homo Habilis, and the reason or Homo Habilis, as some say it, in Texas. This guy is, sapien for us, Homo sapien, means wise. So we're similar to wise, us. Neanderthal, the name Tal means valley in German. Neander is a valley they were first found in. And ensis means you're from that place. So it's Homo neanderthalensis. They were first found in your valley. Homo erectus means hominid, standing upright. And Homo habilis means handyman. Because at the time of its discovery, there were like broken rocks and tools. And they were like, wow, the first of these guys to have these tools, therefore it's the hominid, it's the first hominid for the most part. That's why I knew who this was. This guy is also Australopithecus africanus. You may have heard of Lucy. And Australa means southern, like Australia, or Austria in Europe itself. And then Pithecus means ape. So the idea they're found in Africa. And now it's funny that it has a rock in his hand and a tool. When they first found Homo habilis, that was the first time we saw tool making. But then they found some bones that were cut that showed breaking and cutting, and there were no hominids in that layer of rock. So clearly it was the Australopithecus. So we know that they used tools too. Also to point out that our clothes wearing guys, our non-wearing clothes guys, I say guys because they're anatomically correct. That's the word I would use. And many of the mammal figures do that, which is interesting. And then that just left our last guy, Dryopithecus, which was the most ape-like, from the trees. I have them aligned how they're seen. And Dryopithecus means oak tree ape because it was found in Europe and in the late Miocene. And the idea here was they saw it was these oak trees around it. So they said, well, must we have oak trees back then and when it lived? I mean, we do know now that in paleontology, when you find certain things, it doesn't mean it's because the environment's one way today, it doesn't mean it's always that way. So, for example, we see T-Rex in the Badlands, there are fossils there. It doesn't mean it was a desert when they lived there. It was actually a swamp. We see broadleaf plants. Well, the idea with this guy, they thought they lived in like these dense wooded forests. So I remember I had no way of, I can't remember, I didn't have a picture. I had no way of telling for sure. But I think based on these features, these diagnostic features, I'm sure this is who these guys are. And then I realized the names were on their upper shoulder backs. All of their names were on the back. And I was like, I was right. Awesome, kind of thing. So, because, their torsos are exposed, so they weren't like an animal walking, so they have it on the back shoulder, so it's still not as visible on display purposes. So again, and the big deal with that for me personally was by identifying what are these different hominid and other genuses known for, what is their main claim to fame, it's these features I pointed out to you, and that's how I figured out what they were, and of course that's what they were. So what's the point of doing that is that one, when I give these talks to these different dinosaurs and stuff, when I show it to you, I'm telling you like the high points, the well-known things. There's a lot more detail. That's why most of my videos, I put the name of the animal in one. And I think for Ceratosaurus, I've done part 2 already. The idea is that there's always going to be more information coming out. So I left myself that back door to add more information later on. But for these guys, I just wanted to kind of show them because Blue Land's made these really cool figures. I know Safari Ltd has these tubes for little human evolution figures, which are very similar to these. So that's another option if you're looking for that. But for these guys, I just thought these are super underappreciated things. And as you may know, or if you read these papers and articles, there's a lot of other humanoid things being found and debated and all that. These are the ones that are pretty, I wouldn't say settled. There's no such thing as settled science. I would say that, well, there is. But I'll say that in this situation, these guys are the ones that are pretty well known. They're pretty well established. They're in museums. They're, when you're in a museum, like we know who you are at this point. And even though they may be questioning other things here or there, details, overall we know who they are, and here they are. So if you want to know more about these guys, let me know. If not, or the primates in general, remember I can do any topic on prehistoric, as long as I have a model of it somewhere. I have over a few thousand of these guys. I have enough space and material forever. But like I said, I just wanted to kind of highlight these guys in particular and point out that if you ever want to adventure into a more complete model for your Cenozoic stuff, you can't not go with the humans, right, or hominids. That being said, thank you very much for tuning in. I will see you next week, and we'll talk about something really fun.